here we go. We are going to try and do something a little different. This finally is coming to a conclusion. This is finally ended already. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition, for me, the 100% is done. Went through every nook and cranny. I got the moment where it tells me I got the 100%. Got my rewards. And it's finally done. This was a movement. This was a triumph of a game to do so, because there's so much to do in this game. So many little missions. It's just too much. It's just so much. There's like acid missions. You got vehicle missions, you got the main storyline, then you got just activities to do like racing, schools, collections, or exporting importing for vehicles, just like from Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City. And it was a task. It was a huge, big task. Got it done. Played through the game with the definitive edition, with the latest patch from Steam. And I have to say, I really have to say, what a ride this has been. I really see why people enjoy San Andreas for what it is. I can see why there's a debate between Vice City to San Andreas. I see it. I'm gonna be really honest with you. It almost changed my favorite from these three titles. Because Vice City is my very favorite game from all of them. The soundtrack's perfect. It's Miami, so it's Vice City. You know, the atmosphere of the game, the character, the protagonist. You know, Tommy Vercetti is a good character. Well thought out. You know, a lot of it is pulling back from the '80s show Miami Vice, Scarface. You know, movies, everything. It is the '80s game. But when you're playing San Andreas, it's a '90s game. It's the essence of what the '90s was going, and it's like a weird time clock. It's a weird game that this game it's imbued of so many things from the '90s. The culture, the gang culture, the live events of the LA riots at the very end of the game, the Rampart scandal, the whole thing about Officer Tenpenny. That was a big part of it. Corruption in the police department, LAPD, in that particular precinct. That, and then obviously the big thing, the setting of LA, California, and a little bit of Nevada, because you have so many areas in this game. Such a huge game. Going from Los Santos to the country outskirts. I think it's like Orange County or Bakersfield, something like that. Something like that. But you got connections all the way to San Fierro. That's San Francisco, basically. The essence of this game, it really pulls you in. The missions are fun. There's so many notable missions in this thing. I could name so many. I could name so many. And I'm still thinking about this game. I have spent in a total of 165 hours, 0.5 in Steam, on the Steam the definitive edition. I spent that much. I have got all the achievements. I got everything. I didn't do the 110%. I found this out at the very last moment. I will let this pass. But I did. I conquered this game. I destroyed this game. At the ending, taking over the territories at the Los Santos. Man, it was just a whole lot. It was a whole lot going on at the end. I was already going through that roller coaster rush of just getting it done, and just like the fact, like, man, this game is just so awesome. It almost changed me though. It almost changed my thought of, because I love Vice City. I love it. Always will love it. But San Andreas, I understand it now. I understand what everyone's talking about. on this game. I only beat it like I think once back in the day, and we're talking about like maybe 2007, maybe 2008. This is years ago. But man, what a hell of a game. Now, doing this in the definitive edition, man, I have some things to say. This is the worst game in this definitive edition. The worst one. There's just a lot of things going on in this game. Is it still playable? Is it still redeemable after that last patch? Yes. It's a confirmation of yes, it is playable. I got through it. I only had once, I think once, I fell through the world. Once. To the void. I got caught up in a ledge or somewhere. And it threw me for a second. But then I reloaded a save and we kept trucking along. And it was good. We're good. Now, coming down to the fact the definitive edition has some issues. There are a few major ones where it changes the game a bit. There's some that just been cut because of the music. This one got gutted the most. So this is just from this game alone, 21 songs from like I think 100 and something. How many songs? Like 155 songs, and 21 got removed. I will do a little printout for y'all. I'll put it on the screen to let you know what got removed. Some are big ones, big names. That's a big hit because it's like, besides the flying, and the thing is, with flying, you don't have axes as fast as Vice City. It takes a little bit. Maybe you jump into the airport and you go and you steal like a jet. All right, cool. But like, when it comes down to like helicopters and all that, man, I think there's like maybe like one building, maybe. Other than that, there's really not much to go around unless you're using cheats. And I'm gonna let this know right now. I'm gonna make this very clear. I did use cheats for the fact it was optional. And there's gonna be a big debate. Oh, you shouldn't have used cheats. All this and that. I played this game when it released. We didn't have achievements. We literally played it for fun. The only thing is, back then, what people looked at the most is what you have on your high score criminal rating. The highest one that is 1,000,000 points, I think 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000, is King of San Andreas. King of San Andreas. Yeah, it's 1,000,000 points. It's 1,000,000 points, and it takes a lot to get there. And there's some people that don't get it. Different time on the PS2, if you want to do these achievements, it's up to you. I had fun personally because I had another save. There's a reason why I have so much save time. So I did 2 games, 2 runs of this, and it was a struggle with that first one. But because with cheats, man, you're breezing through, you're getting everything, you're doing what you have to do, and that's basically it. And I don't feel bad for it. I had a great time. With this definitive edition. Now, I am very upset. Here's another point I'm going to point out. 2 cheats that got removed because of engine limitations, which I call some major bullshit to me, because I was going through the cheats. Infinite health is removed, and never hungry is removed. Fuck this hungry system, bro. The hunger system blows. I didn't give 2 damn shits to eat at the end of the game. I was running through it. I have some footage blowing up all the Vargos and the Balas and going through every sweep of the neighborhood. And I had the Hunter too, that Apache helicopter, blowing them up to smithereens. Because you know what? The hunger thing is, it's such an, it's like, I get it. This was released how it was, and I'm not gonna fault it for it. It was pretty cool back then. You know, it was something new. But man, the annoyance of getting that, of, oh, you gotta eat, then you lose your muscle, then you lose your health, and then it's just it's a slog, because then you gotta go to the restaurant, you gotta eat X amount of food without throwing up, because you can make yourself throw up. People do forget about that. And if you don't know about that, yeah, go eat about like 20 meals. Try to see if you can eat 20 meals in one sitting, and you'll figure it out real quick. It was such a annoyance for me, at least, right? But but we got through it. We got through it. I used them cheat codes, and it was still a good time. It's a little weird with the PS5 controller, because I'm gonna be honest, this is just not a fault on them or Sony. It's just the control, the triggers, R2, L2. They're like triggers now, right? Back then they were just big old buttons, just tactile, the little button on that controller. And it was such a smaller controller back then. It you got to get used to it, right? Because you got to get into a little flow of doing it for so much. And I still remember these damn cheat codes. I remember the health, money, and armor. I remember the weapons, the losing the wanted level, because God forbid the wanted. Oh my God, man! I'm just glad when it came to Game Wars, the cops weren't that issue. Once you start a game war or provoke the game war into that little section of the game, the cops are like, all right, whatever. They just turn a blind eye. They're like, all right, dude, whatever, bye. And you know what? You just don't have to deal with that. And that's cool. I'm cool with that. But man, that was a little annoyance for me. Now, another thing that's it's been a debatable thing from the get-go from this trilogy is the character models. In this game is more apparent because there's some that just look like crap. Like they look bad. Cut that out. Starting 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the characters they just look so bad. Like, on some of them. Some actually look pretty damn decent. You look at them and you're like, hey, they did a decent job. Sweet looks all right. The clothing, to some of these characters are okay. They look good. But for some reason, I don't know, like, there's just some characters like Denise or Millie. Her, like, the eyebrows and the face is just, oh man. There's a mod that can replace that, yeah, if you have it on Steam. If you have the Switch or the PS4 version, I'm sorry to tell you, you're just stuck with it. It is what it is. But yeah, that's a downfall on those models. I hope we get another big patch or something down the line. That's something they can clean up. I really do hope it. I honestly overlooked it because let's be really honest. When you look back at the originals, let's clean our nostalgia glasses a tad bit. You know, we're not sniffing farts around over here, okay? They look like shit. Let's just be really real about it. They weren't the greatest, but we saw it for what it was back when we were kids. I look at it now and I'm like, it's all right. You know, there's still a little cartoons in a fucking game. Whatever, whatever. Character model. It was interesting, but now it's like, you know, there's some updates to some characters that they got an update they needed. I noticed too on these models, some people's eyes are kind of like weird, like they were sinking into their face, or they're like popping out. It was so weird. So I I overlooked that very well because of the PS2 version, and I'll probably just post a video in here. Some characters that just, or not even a video, like even just like an image. But anyway, some characters they just don't look that great. Like Ryder, he look all right, but everyone's complaints about is like the arms and all that, right? Because I know on the bicycle scene in the original release of the definitive edition, he looked like shit. Like it looked bad. But when it came down to the original, it's like the model is fine, but then if you look closer to the clothing, the texture is like crap. It's bad. And the only problem is now with the new one, now they fixed it and everything. I noticed that clothing has like a little shine to it. Has like a little shine to it for some reason. And then, and I'm gonna just segue into another issue. It's the clothing for CJ looks like they didn't even bother. Like they just kind of like textured over the textures from the original game. Like they didn't even do an upres. So like if you notice that some characters, their clothing looks all kind of like nice and neat, little stitches, buttons, a pocket maybe, whatever. But when you notice with CJ, it looks like how it looked like in the PS2. I'm gonna just say this now, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Grove Street Games, mark your words. I'm glad you got marked off the damn title on these games. Y'all really gotta figure something out in Unreal Engine 4 or something. Y'all, I don't know what. I could look into the credits, but and you know for y'all's team, wasn't ready for this task. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't. You can make a complaint. They could bitch about it, whatever. But this was some dog shit. This there was some stuff that besides that final patch that the other game company is fixing up now. That's Video Game Deluxe. They're doing a great job, but they um, they really like you could just see the errors. Like even now, like now everything's kind of fixed up a little bit. Like some of these models, man, like man, it's like Play-Doh. It's like Play-Doh, and it's bad, and I just ah. And you know, as I'm playing this, I'm overlooking it, whatever. You know, I'm saying these rants now because on release I was very disappointed as well. As for viewers out there, they're watching this. Understand, I had a POV on this that you know I was really disappointed on the release. I was really disappointed because these games are the foundation what GTA is now. We're gonna get GTA 6 soon, and it's like looking back at this is like you know it's a bastardization to their legacy, you know, and it's sad because everyone can make the argument like, oh, Rockstar should have just done this in house, this and that. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up with Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto 6, but it's all hands on deck on that project on its own. Everybody's working on that damn thing. That thing has to come out and fall. That is the main objective of this year. And what I've been seeing, it is on track to make it for that fall release. We just have to wait and see. Now, besides the issue of this is just a side thing, that not pros and cons to the definitive edition, but as a business decision that Rockstar Games removed the Steam version of Grand Theft Auto, like the original Grand Theft Auto games, and they now they're not there anymore. Like you have to go like to websites if there's keys to get the copy from Steam. Because other than that, you have to get it from Rockstar's launcher. I don't know. I think they're just really trying to put their little DMR in it to kind of control it. But for the most part, it's pretty unfortunate. If you can find a key out there, that's cool. If you if you want to mod it a lot more, because there's a lot of mod support for those older versions. Now, with the definitive edition that does better compared to the original PC ports, there besides like the glitches and the little mishaps now, other than that, the game runs fine. You turn it on, it's really very rare I have any crashes. If any, I have yet to get one. I've been playing the Switch version a little bit here and there, and it's fine. I would recommend, if on the Switch version, to use a Pro controller, because using cheat codes on that, it's a little weird with those small little controllers. Um, Now coming down to it, it still has a few things that I personally don't like. The aim assist and the lock on characters. If you notice, if you ever played the original PS2 version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it was a lot cooler. It had like 3 triangles, lock on little icon, and then it'll change from green to red to whatever the health runs out, right? I like that. That was fine. They should have just brought it back. What was the issue? You know, Something maybe Grocery Games probably fucked up. Because I'm gonna slander their name. I don't care. They made design decisions that they probably couldn't implement into Unreal Engine 4. And maybe Unreal Engine 4 was maybe a mistake. Maybe. But maybe it's the fact that the developers maybe didn't have the know-how to transition from renderware, that is the old engine for the Grand Theft Auto games from this era, to the Unreal Engine 4. Game designers, they could be adding comments onto this. Go for it. I only have a limited amount of knowledge on it. I'm just, if anything, these are more of assumptions. But there was some kind of skill issue in regards to this, because I have looked on numerous amount of videos of comparisons of what they added and what they didn't add it, what's still broken and what's not broken, how many things are broken in the game compared to what's already been fixed. They're all in the description if you want to watch those videos. I picked out the ones that I thought that they were really useful. There's still more out there if you want to look at them, if you want to see the differences. But this definitive edition, it's like, it's a love-hate thing, especially with San Andreas, because San Andreas, even though with all the issues and throughout the playthrough, oh, I'm sorry, I hit the thing. Throughout the playthrough, I had a great time. I cannot complain too much, besides a few things that I will say, not immersion, but it's like a constant annoyance in the game. Deactivating those cheats of the infinite health, never hunger. At least the never hunger. That would make me mad because it's diverting me from pushing on to the game to get 100% complete, getting all this game completed, to go eat. And the cheat code was there originally in the original game. Why couldn't you bring that back? That's one. The other thing is, and a lot of people have discussed this. I'm gonna press on it a little bit more, but it's not a it's not like a game breaking mechanic. It's not nothing that's like taking you out of the game. But the pop in, like the assets popping in, the textures as you're loading in when you're flying. When you're flying. Now when you're driving a bike, whatever, that's fine. It does it okay. It's not as bad as you think. But when it comes out to flying, and I'll show some examples above, and it's very apparent. It's very apparent on that because it will keep popping up. It will keep showing. It will keep doing things, but it's loading the game. Give it about maybe a few seconds, 5 seconds. It's done, and it has to do it to a certain distance. So some people have broken down that's a feature from Unreal Engine 4 where they have used. They have explained that this particular tool or feature has bad visuals in regards of distance, but then as you get closer, it loads it up into the game for you and for the asset or to the model or textures. That's basically it, and it's because it's like off-putting a little bit. You're like flying, or you're trying to get through the cities, whatever. After the initial like 4 8 hours, I'm like, all right, whatever. We're good. The game's functioning. It's not crashing. I'm okay. It's cool. I have seen worse, and those are some other games out there. They were shit for a hot minute, but that's a really big concern that I had to make a point on. Some people will still make a comment on that, or there's some of the other issues like the character models or textures. Textures. Oh wow, there's floating grass and leaves, and oh this thing is not connected, and X, Y, and Z. There's videos of comparisons from the original PS2 that had issues in the original game that had trees popping up or certain leaves or trash or boxes were floating. Let's be really honest, man. Like nostalgia is one hell of a drug, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. The original was not perfect, okay? It was not perfection. It was a good time, of course, but it was not perfect. Now, back to some other bad things. Actually, you know what? I think we hit every mark I had to bad to say about this. Now we're gonna get to the good things now, the pros of this definitive edition. Now, after you've been playing, all that, collecting, doing the tags, the oysters, all that kind of stuff. The new controls are awesome. Oh my god, they're amazing. Looking around your car and doing a drive by is just nice. I don't have to turn. We don't have to have the camera turn full 90 to hit your target. If you know your target's there, you're just gonna do it. And then there's auto aim assist or aim assist, whatever you want to say. Um, that helps you to get your targets. That's nice. That's nice because man, with these older games, because this is pretty much the end, kind of the end. Besides the Liberty City and Vice City stories, they're kind of very archaic. That they have that archaic feel. You know, picking up health pickups and armor and badges and all that. Some of the aspects from the original releases from PS2. I it's a video game. It has a arcade feel to it. It still has a criminal rating, so basically a higher score. And I'm okay with some new innovations that kind of like help you out with the game to have more fun, to be more efficient, and not just shooting off to some tree that you're not hitting your target, or the aim assist. That stuff right there matters to me, because then you're just thinking like, damn, this is some jank. Like, oh, jank, man, some BS. Like, oh man, why can't I just hit the target? Why is it this way? So I find that as a real major plus with these controls. The weapon wheel, I'm gonna touch on this, but the weapon wheel, I have talked about this from 3 Vice City, now to San Andreas. It's an awesome addition. Yeah, the weapons and the wheel change around. There's no solid little input. But if you think about it, you have 3 sets of weapons throughout the game. You have certain slots that fit that criteria. And to me, it's a funny glitch. It's a glitch nevertheless, but it still functions. It still works. You just your bazooka or your little missile heat-seeking missile launcher is gonna be in a different slot. Whatever. I'm okay with that. It works. It works. It gets the job done. You know, dual wheeling it feels real good. Getting them the micro SMGs, the Tech 9. Get them fully maxed out with your weapon skills. That was nice. The faster rate, the control on the player, so that you can hit your targets a lot better, a lot sharper. With the mouse, it feels really precise. It's really good, really good. But yeah, and then especially with some of the missions, like you're aiming while you're someone else is driving, but you're aiming to shoot. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good, and you're hitting your targets, and that kind of stuff. Climbing, it's actually it's one feature I like about this game, and they you could get really creative to get around buildings, and I'm glad they didn't circumvent. They didn't block you from doing that. That was just a game design thing that I'm just kind of happy they didn't. Like, there was a way you could just park a car or a bike, jump on a building, you jump over the fence, you're in the airport, which is nice. You want to get a jet, you want to fly around, you want to see the city, you want to go to the boardwalk and see the lights. Now, with that being said, looking around in details, there's little additions throughout the city of Los Santos and throughout all of San Andreas. They're pretty nice, compared to the originals. There's some buildings that have a little bit of depth. They have that little mirror, but it may look like there's something in there, but there's really nothing in there, obviously, right? You got cleaned up signs, you got cleaned up detailed areas, decor, comparing it to like the original PS2. Because I will give the PS2 all the credit because it had so much limited power. It had so much limited power that got things correct, and it used up as much as it can on the PS2. It was amazing that we got that on that console. So these extra details everywhere you're seeing, you look at the game and you're looking at your guns, the gun models are pretty nice. They're cleaned up. The foliage, the grass, the bushes, the trees are moving. They're not static, because in the original they were static, just trees. Now, when you're on a helicopter and you're going up, they are moving a little bit, but it's not an actual model. It's just like a 2D plane of some sort, and as you fly up, just to show that, to give it that little extra effect. But now you got like these models here in the trees, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty cool. They have integrated a lot of newer graphic upgrades like DLSS. They have that for the NVIDIA, so if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, you can use that. FSR is not on this, unfortunately, but it is optimized though still by AMD. so it's still able to play very well at a high frame rate. There was some glitches in the beginning when they released for this definitive edition, especially for San Andreas, that if you have more than 60 FPS, that it would just throw the game off for something. For some reason, the swimming was off, the running was off, everything. Now, pushing on, I don't know if the race tournaments had a continuation of you coming back from the race. So, like, when you start the race up at the race tournaments, you would do the race and then you win, right? But then it will actually take you back to the area that you selected the race at. I don't know if that's like an innovation from back then or this is something they did now, but that's pretty convenient because driving everywhere to a race was annoying in Vice City. There was only a few races in Grand Theft Auto 3, so that's not much of an issue for me, but that was kind of a little annoyance in Vice City. Just a little. Now they changed the workout session. Now it's like it used to be two buttons you're pressing to push on for another rep into the for your character, CJ to lift weights. Now it's just one little meter and you know what? For me, it's a plus. I don't have to break my thumb on that. Yeah, ultra nerds are gonna be like, "Oh, this is not the original. Isn't I don't want. I want to bust my thumbs." I'm like, "Hey, you know, whatever, bro. You want to go back to the original, go back to the original. But it's functional. It works. Now there's some weird glitches where CJ's lifting like 320 no problem, and I find that funny to be really honest. I think that's it's pretty hilarious how that happened. Cut. Start. So yeah, I find that really funny how that happens. I was just like, what the hell? And people pointed out in some videos too I was watching to kind of catch up myself to confirm it because I don't know, some glitches could be just a fluke and it happens once, but that's an apparent thing, which some people are gonna be bothered by it, whatever. But to me, I just find that a really little funny little Easter egg glitch that you just see that happens. Now, I noticed that when you're locking on a character, your crosshairs actually come up now. So besides the outline of the character that you're locked onto, trying to shoot somebody, you have your actual crosshairs on top, and they actually have little indicators going from green to red, until you kill them. And I thought that was a nice little touch. Not the greatest because I do like the original, triangle lock on icon or whatever you want to call it. But it was nice supplement to the new controls and especially bringing this to a newer light and with the definitive edition. Vehicles spawn a lot better. I got through those import exports and man, I have to say, besides I used the website to look up some of these vehicle spawns, I got pretty damn lucky. I got lucky with some of them that just spawned out of nowhere, and I was just like, all right, let's just take this out and let's get this done, because that could be very tedious. And this is just an original design thing that San Andreas did perfect back then. They had everything in one city. It's not multiple cities. Not Vice City had it well, but you had to like run around all the islands. But with San Andreas, you were in San Fierro, and for the most part, everything was kind of a close proximity. There were a few things I had to go for, a few cars I had to go for in Los Santos, but I still made the drive. It wasn't that long. I thought it was gonna take forever, but no, 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 it didn't take too long because once he got, I singled out those. because I'll let the vehicle spawn. I'll stand around for a little bit, and I'll let them come in, and I'll just take them in. And that's what's really nice about that. Besides parking lots helped out too. But yeah. Now, one thing I'm gonna say about this definitive edition, they didn't have to do this. They did not have to let this be, but they let this be. The 100% is achievable with cheats. I don't want to, hear those ultra nerds. They're gnarling at their teeth and then damn their keyboards saying that, oh, you gotta play it like this and this and that. No, you know what? Let everybody play the game for the way they want it. They don't want achievements, but you could get 100%. Sure, why not? Why not? Because you know what? This was a game. I'll tell you. The story missions go a big old round circle and coming to and the cool thing is this is something about GTA San Andreas does right. You're coming home as Los Santos, and you know what? It's only a few more missions. That's it. Besides the territory you got to take back, but that's it. You don't have to be oh man you barely got to Los Santos, then you got to jump around, go around to Las Venturas. You got to go to San Fran. No, you don't have to do that. That's something the designers at Rockstar they did perfectly, and they literally kept it to Los Santos at the very end. And I really appreciate it. Unless you missed out some side missions, you had to go back to other cities. Other than that, it was a lock-in deal, and I do appreciate the 100% that was achievable with cheats. Cheat codes. Man, this game could be brutal. I'm gonna tell you. Besides the new replay, restart, confirmation screen, the checkpoint, the mission checkpoints, that right there, that is the golden goose of this game, and these three games especially. But man, there are some missions that could be brutal if you don't do them right, or like if you're trying to do this without cheats, because God forbid something happens, you gotta, Jimmy drops your console, or X, Y, and Z happens, right? And then you're just oh, I have to start this mission from the beginning again. That checkpoint is pretty nice. It does let you go back and do that. I really, I really do appreciate that because man, there's some missions that then you do need a replay unless you're like you can get it on the first try. That's just something that I'm happy they put. Now there were some rumblings about people saying, "Oh well, there should be mission replays, like in the newer games." And I think this is more especially with Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. When I say to that, yes and no. With these games, the way they were designed, they were more linear. So your story, the beginning to the end. That's my opinion on it. Maybe they'll bring it up in an update. Who knows? It took them 3 years to give us a decent update from a different company that developed the damn game for this editions. But you know what? Nevertheless, we got something, right? So that's something to look forward to see what will happen. Now, there is a new cheat code. Is basically the Konami code. If you know the Konami code and you input it, you actually get big head cheats. This was originally in Liberty City Stories, and it got brought into these editions. So in all three editions of these games, you have big head mode, if you can put it, if you wish. Pretty cool. It's not a little bad. It's a little like it's pretty cool that even though like it's gonna mess up your achievements or whatever, but besides all that, it's nice. It's nice. It could definitely be better stuff like the Never Hunger. Oh man, that's that was a nice little ad though. But another thing too, a little small talking points: GPS and better minimap. The mini map in the original game was straight 2D. Like, yeah, you can use zoom out, whatever. But this has like more of like Grand Theft Auto 5, where it goes on an angle and it lets you see a little farther out, and then the zoom in on the mini map. I found that very appreciative for that because sometimes you don't want to go to the menu to look at the map. Even the map is an updated thing, you know, because the map zoom out and zoom in. It's kind of like annoying a little bit. So that being improved in any kind of way, it does help. It does help to play the game. You know, even though San Andreas is not as big as the newer games nowadays, but this game particularly with San Andreas, it really brings the light to a lot of these little innovations that Rockstar have brought on to their newer games. Especially that damn weapon wheel, man. That's the bee's knees. That's perfect. You know. Now, with all that being said, 100%. 100% is finally done. And I will say this is a worth playing version, even though there's some glitches still, but they're not major. They're not game breaking. You have to be, I don't know, there had to be some really like exception to the rule, like kind of shit, where something happens and you don't know what to do, like if it's gonna crash or something like that. But I haven't seen that. I've been seeing videos and videos and videos, and they're functioning. You know, you're able to use a PS5 controller on this because of Steam. Xbox controllers made more native of this, but then you got the Switch version. Hey, you got the Pro controller. Hey, that's what's up. Hey, you got the PS4 version and you use it on your PS5. Well, there you go. Now with that one, and I have made a video about this talking about that for the best versions. The PS4 is kind of weird, and I have to play more with that, and I'll discuss that in another video or something because it gives you options for the fidelity and the performance and all that kind of shit. People do appreciate the 60 frames. Let's just be real about that. 60 frames and above, we appreciate it in our eyes because we're so used to it to our new monitors nowadays. TVs nowadays are 60 frames per second for the most part, or 60 hertz. So there is decent television out there, you know, with shows, right? You're taking advantage of that. And that's something that needs to be kind of noted on those different types of versions, like the Switch version and all that. Because the Switch version is locked on a 30 FPS. It does dip in some moments, but it does the job on handheld, and it's pretty convenient. It's a really big strength about the Switch, and a new Switch is coming soon. So we're gonna see if we're gonna get some optimal upgrades with that new Switch. That will be pretty nice. Now, one big wish, one big talking point to Rockstar. Please, for the love of God, keep putting some money into this game itself. These are your legacy games. This is what made Grand Theft Auto. This is what made Rockstar itself. Let this be fixed. Do fix the game. Let Video Games Deluxe do their thing. They're doing a good job. Let them have it. Let them get it done. Because you know what? Everyone, and I mean a lot of people on this planet that we live on, love Grand Theft Auto. They do like these original games, and they're a good time. They're arcade. They're a blast from the past. How you put it like that? They're a blast from the past. And finishing up with San Andreas, and man, I didn't realize that I was this close to changing my favorite for this game, because San Andreas is such a game that I appreciate now playing again, 100%ing it, because it's such a good time. It's so many iconic things in this game. And it's so iconic in itself, and it does so many new things from back then that now we're very appreciative of games taking advantage and doing now. And it's just fun. It's dumb fun. But man, I told you I was gonna make a mega video for this San Andreas. I really do hope you guys got this far. If you did not, whatever. But for people that have got this far in the video, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. This is something that I really like doing. Having fun doing this, and I want to keep doing it. I'm trying to figure out the next series, and I have an idea already of a video game to to do 100% on, but I already technically did. But this is something that I'm gonna keep pushing on for. So this is like the for viewers out there, I'm gonna keep doing it because it's fun. I really have this vision of doing it. It's a really good time to look into this stuff, playing the games, and especially this original definitive edition. This is my little rant of I wish they didn't fuck up the launch of this. And I have been saying this from the previous videos. I wish they didn't. I wish they didn't, because man, this is such a good game. Good set of games right here. And then the possibilities of getting Liberty City and Vice City Stories onto a definitive edition. Those games are fun. Those games are literally stuck PS2, PSP on emulators. Old graphics, old issues. Just like that. Liberty City Stories literally is the upgraded version of Grand Theft Auto 3. What Grand Theft Auto 3 couldn't have been. And seeing those games brought up together, brought up to snuff, how you say? They're such great games, good stories, good activities. There's just so much in that, and I really hope that maybe they could pair up with Video Game Deluxe and push that, because it'll be a good time. It'll be really fun to play. But we'll see. If anything else, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.